Alrighty then, welcome back everybody to the Schulte Strong channel. We are now going to be filling some range of motion, also referred to as ROM. And Sam's going to run us through of what we can do with our shoulders, because not only did you see I have tight quads in my last video, now you're going to see how tight my shoulders are. And he's going to help me with that. And he helps a lot of people with that. And he's been for years with massage, strength training, you name it. What else can we name?
Dynamic flexibility, isometrics, dynametrics, passive flexibility, facilitated range of motion, all these wonderful different modalities that you can use. Yin yoga comes in really good when you're working on deep fascial release. We'll talk more about that. We'll do later videos about that specifically. But we're here today to talk about range of motion, what it is, and how you can observe it and develop it within your own practice. So what is range of motion? Range of motion is the amount of movement that a limb can make around a joint. And the most movable joint we have in our body is our shoulder, right? So I'm moving now in the frontal plane, I'm moving in the sagittal plane, I'm doing forward rotation with my arm, I'm doing reverse rotation. Here I'm coming across my body, now I'm reversing that. We can do things like this. This is my surgically repaired shoulder, by the way, things like this. We can come at angles. We can tie that in with our elbows and our wrists, right? So why does this concern you? And part of the reason that we're doing this channel is there's some misconceptions about how someone should train for a specific sport, and then getting information from people that aren't necessarily in your sport and then copying those people because, say, you like their physiques. And I'll give you an example of this, and this is a mistake when I was a young man that I made myself because I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the idea of weight training to me came from, Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding encyclopedia. However, as an athlete, I was a wrestler and a sprinter. Using bodybuilding strength training didn't benefit me. Now, if I were a bodybuilder, it would have, but I wasn't then. I'm not a bodybuilder now. Why should I train like bodybuilders? And I would say bodybuilders want high volume and do kind of like a mid-range of motion to stimulate as much muscle growth as possible. Muscle growth itself can actually limit range of motion. I'll give you an example. If my biceps are huge, super huge, I may only be able to close my arm so much, right? So that's something to take into consideration when developing muscle. Like, what do you need for your sport? Do you need more range of motion, or do you need more muscle mass? The truth is, out there are very few sports where having excess muscle mass benefits you. Sumo wrestlers, for sure, bodybuilders, for sure, but when it comes down to it, for most sports, or quote-unquote sports, having lower muscle mass and a higher strength to weight ratio is ideal than having excessive muscle mass and decreased flexibility and so on and so forth. So how can you develop range of motion? And a couple things that we've already talked about are joint mobility exercises. So for example, with the shoulder joint, you always start from proximal, that means closest to the joint, to distal, going down the joint. So you can start with things like shoulder rotations, right? You can start with things like shoulder rotations with the bent elbow, rotations of the whole arm, right, in various planes of movement. You can do flexibility exercises like crawl the hands up the back. See if you can lock your hands behind your back. Not bad for surgically repaired shoulders. Good. So things like that are all going to increase your range of motion. The other thing that we want to do today is to give you some examples of how to increase range of motion right out of the gates, right? So let's see, demonstrate your shoulder flexibility for me.
All right. So, how would you like me to do that?
Let's go into reverse tabletop. So one test, turn your fingers and toes same direction. One test you can use to assess shoulder flexibility is reverse tabletop. So go ahead and get your hips a little higher. We're looking at Forrest's ability to lock his elbows and have basically a 90-degree angle here. If he has that, it means that he has good flexibility in his biceps, forearms, and chest. And so I can tell that he's been doing full range of motion dips like a good boy, and he's able to do this stretch. Go ahead and come down. Okay, go ahead and can you turn your back to the camera for me? Okay, take one hand behind your head, take the other hand to your lower back, start to crawl the hands towards each other. Okay, this is something that flexibility wise you want to work on, and so I'm gonna pop off camera for a quick second and grab something that Forrest can use to climb his hands together. We'll just use this band. Let's use this band. Okay, go ahead and I'm gonna put that here. Stretch this down. Okay, and now walk your hands towards each other. Okay, so Forrest is now under the resistance of an elastic band, walking his hands towards one another. And as he does this, he's increasing the stretch at the shoulders. Can you feel that happening? Mm-hmm. Why is that? Because the band's getting tighter. So there's more resistance between his hands, which means there's more flexibility happening at the muscles, or there's more stretch being put on the muscles. Keep going. So now with a little assistance, I can encourage this. So what I'm gonna do is brace just below the scapula. I'm gonna hold here, I'm gonna tell Forrest, go ahead and lift your chest. Good, can you feel that? Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking down his body, so the crown of the head is right over the hips, and I'm trying to encourage the flexibility here because it's where it's happening. Good, take one or two more deep breaths. By the way, when doing these exercises, rather than doing them for time, count slow deep breaths. And let's say in the beginning, do a minimum of 10 slow deep breaths. Good, and rest. Good, I got this, come off slow. Okay, so he's got to relax this arm now. So go ahead and relax your arm. And that's just because you want to ease any tension out of the muscle if he was straining. And you can see his trap is activated probably because that was a little hard for him to do. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to take this arm now just across his body. And we'll do a little assisted twist. This stretches the rhomboids, and it's a good spinal twist exercise. Might get a crack or two out of his back. Oh yeah. Good. Okay, this is the other side. Okay, and we're going to do a total of 2 times per side with this today, just so you can see that he's getting some improvement in range of motion. And we'll show using the reverse tabletop, and we'll do another kind of static exercise. You ready for the knee come in?
Yeah, I can't crawl if this shoulder's not as mobile.
Okay, go ahead and lift your chest. Good, you feeling it? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, another important thing here is I'm bracing him. So he's doing far more work than I am. I'm just acting as his wall, meaning my leg and his back is a surface for him to push against. I'm not pushing into him. Forrest is pushing into me, and really important so you don't hurt your partner if you're doing this. Also, I may be putting about 10 pounds of force on this elbow, but you don't need a lot. Less is more. And relax. Good. Okay, ease off, I got this. Okay, relax your arms. Totally relax. Totally relax. Even more relaxed. Okay, come across. There we go. Got a nice crack out of his back there. Really nice, really nice. Good.
I need to see it this time? Or is it
Yeah,
good?
no, let's do it seated. So we're gonna change the angle on here a little bit so you can get a different angle.
It'll make me look taller. I can always do a little boost here and there.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Good. Lift your chest. Good. Better the second time around.
Mm-hmm. Better.
Okay. So because this is not going to be a long video, I just asked Forrest, is this second time better than the first time? The answer is yes. And there's this point at which if you do this repetitiously, you'll get more and more flexibility to a point, right? And then at some point it'll start getting tighter because the muscles are getting pumped and so on and so forth. But what you want to do is try these exercises twice. Once at the beginning of a workout after you've warmed up, and then again at the end of the workout, okay? And stretching warm muscles is going to give you more return on your investment of time spent doing flexibility training. Also, there's something called satellite cells that release mechanogrowth factor, and they're on the fascia that covers the muscle itself. So when you stretch a pumped muscle, you get more release of that mechanogrowth factor, which helps the muscles to grow. Good, and release. I got it. Yeah, shake it out. Oh yeah. Okay, lift the chest. So as you can see already from this second time around, he's getting more elevation through the chest. His ability to lift and open the chest is greater, which means the shoulder flexibility is definitely greater.
And like you said, the breathing has helped me relax too, just by doing the actual deep breathing this time.
Really good point, guys. I'll just tell you what Forrest just said. So he's able, through doing slow, deep breathing, to ease into the stretch. Also, his cortisol levels are coming down, his adrenaline levels are coming down, which means his inflexibility is enhanced by those hormone levels coming down. Good, and relax, release. Awesome. Okay, just roll the shoulders up, back and down. Go ahead and take the hands up overhead for me. Interlace, take the hands back. Good. You can see now he's able to get his arms behind his hips. Really, really important point here. Also, his traps are more even. I don't know if you guys noticed, but his right side was higher than the left before he started. So you feeling better in the upper back? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try the reverse tabletop and see where you're at.
So you guys don't get some moose knuckle over here and pull down those shorts.
Arms forward. Good, you feel the difference in that now?
Mm-hmm. Way less discomfort.
Okay, go ahead and get the hips higher. Couple key points here. Again, he's able to lock his elbows, so good bicep flexibility. Front of his anterior deltoid here, pec major, pec minor, tie-in are looser. Okay, go ahead and come down. And we're gonna do that standing overhead stretch. So interlace and then fold. We're gonna do a standing fingers interlace forward fold shoulder stretch here. We're gonna test his range of motion from last time. Okay, still one that he needs to work on, but better. I don't know if you guys remember this from last time, but we weren't able to achieve this angle that he's easily achieving now, and he's crying far less. Far less. It's very nice. Good, and release. Alrighty. So that's a dipping of the big toe into the sea of range of motion. We'll kind of keep it short for today, but if you have any comments, questions, leave them down below. Remember to hit the like and the subscribe button. Like and subscribe.
3 thumbs up, everybody.
And and if you have any ideas on, like maybe you have a particular issue, range of motion issue that you want to discuss that maybe we could do a video on, maybe a common issue that you've run into before, let us know and we'd be happy to do a video for you on that. Alrighty, we love you, take care, have a great day. We're Schultes Strong.